Yeah, folks, we're freaking back. Welcome back to class, everybody. I am your favorite professor who is completely tired of Ricky's shit.
Whoa! Wait, what's your name?
Oh, yeah. Touche, Ethan. And now I'm not tired of your shit.
And now I am your extremely emotionally sensitive Professor Ricky right now, and how dare you even say something like that to me? No, this man queued up. This is gonna be so bad for you, dude, and you forgot your freaking name.
Cry about it.
And you forgot your freaking name.
What is a name?
It is,
after all,
it is just that which we call each other. Utteral, guttural mouth noises that just happen to identify the person.
If you think about it, it's really just vibrations.
Whoa.
I know, folks.
Ethan said he's on one today. Now I'm debating exactly what that one is on.
It is, I guess, a disappointing career. No.
The crippling presence of the void without the blackest of clovers. Still.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm actually starting to notice it.
Was that really your last string before the bottom? Before the falling into the pit?
Oh no, I'm actually chilling heavy. I mean, okay, so we in our area, like, things are starting to open up.
Yes, I cannot be more excited for that shit.
And we actually we went like out to dinner with a friend, myself, Ricky, and our friend Tristan, if you recall from one of the early episodes, the guy who used to refuse to watch anime.
And now our boy is hooked on the game.
Guess why, though?
Which ones did he call out? Why is he doing it? And what's his end game here?
Okay, so the reason is he works for a Japanese company and he's going to be living in Japan working there.
We won't say which company, but it rhymes with Boy Yoda.
I feel like maybe doxing all of our homies is not a great idea.
He'll be fine.
Anywho,
it's Honda. Keep going.
Yeah, it's totally Hyundai, which is not in Japan. Anyway, so he's moving there and basically has to be semi-proficient in Japan. Japanese.
What did you almost say?
I don't even know.
Oh, no.
This is going so poorly.
I know. We had about 60 seconds of track runway before the cliff, and now we're an actual train wreck.
Oh, anywho, so yikers.
Let's center it.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay.
Centering over.
Yeah. Okay, so he's working for a Japanese company. His boss basically told him he needs to learn some Japanese and literally told him he could watch anime at work if he pleases to satisfy that requirement. And the other thing he told him to watch was like Japanese drama shows,
which in my mind
is like Real Housewives of Japan IRL,
which is great. I mean, it's what we are trying to do. So it's funny that he has been told to assimilate via anime and drama shows. The two furthest things from real life than I can imagine.
Whoa, watch it.
I'm just saying. That's the whole point of anime, my dude. Because I don't want to watch shit I could watch every day. I want to watch something cray-cray all day and today.
You know what? We're done with the whole rhyming shit, dude.
No way. Today, I want to talk to you, Ethan, about games. Video games.
Wait, we didn't even finish. Holy shit.
Okay, we'll cut all this out.
Sorry.
It's cool.
No, we're not doing that.
Then rip it off, dude. Come on.
I'm leaving it in just to freaking crush you like I said I would. So anywho, so he's watched One Punch Man and Death Note. Now this guy literally vehemently hated anime and would like basically be an asshole every time we brought it up.
Often.
And I cannot tell you how happy I was when we were sitting at this table and he was like saying how much he loved Death Note.
He would not talk anything down on it. It was like a 10 out of 10 for him. Honestly, it wasn't a 10 out of 10. He agreed with the bulk of the anime community, which was that season 1 was masterpiece level and that it just went down hard from there, which him coinciding with the anime community on anything is such a huge step for him. It's great. It's so good to see him agree
remember
with me.
we said he's a jackass?
I can't forget
A
when you
complete
said that.
fool?
Are you done?
Yeah, so we we're thinking about what to pitch him next. So he basically asked us for new shows to be pitched. And I was obviously thinking down the same road as like the Death Note, and I was thinking to pitch Lelouch of the Rebellion,
Yes, I'd be into that.
Code Geass, but then we had talked betwixt the two of us while he was in the table, and we said maybe we'll wait a little bit until he's ready, more seasoned anime guy, so that he can deal with the anime mech, genre in general.
That's definitely a leap because the grounded aspect of Death Note would kind of be like that cool mind game would definitely be undercut by mechs for him specifically. So what else would y'all recommend? This guy loved Death Note.
So we landed on Great Teacher Onizuka just because we think it's an absolute masterpiece.
Oh, okay. And
this is the whole reason we brought it up.
I think this is starting to feel like the whole reason we brought it up.
It is.
So just to rip myself a new one, I back in the day was not as
guys. Is this beginning of this episode terrible?
It's awful. But you know what? We'll get into it. But we're not exactly the best at pitching back in the day. Now we are literal, salesmen of the highest caliber to anyone that needs some anime stuff. But back in the day, I give the worst ever pitch of Great Teacher Onizuka anyone has ever given in the history of time. Yeah. I just say it's this older guy who becomes a teacher to get good with high school chicks. Just to get some of that possibly illegal tail. And Ethan is just like, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? This was our moment. And Tristan was just like, I'm fucking out.
Yeah,
dude.
He was as out as someone could possibly be. It was pretty funny.
So it was a long walk, Ethan, to crush me, but I did enjoy the view. That was a bad. I committed big bad. It was not good.
That was a bad. I totally agree.
But I think we revisited it, and I think we kind of started a little more interest in him on that one. But if anyone has a suggestion for our good old friend Tristan.
Jeez, dude, are you okay, bro?
You're the one, right, dude? This whole intro. And these poor people have been listening for 8.5 minutes. Like, what are these guys smoking, okay? Dude? What are these guys smoking? But yes, Tristan is on the up and up, and it makes me overjoyed to see him begin his anime journey. Even if it is for an occupational end, it doesn't end that way. He'll be a weeb soon enough, my friends.
Yeah, he'll be hooked and listening to all of our episodes soon enough.
Wink, wink. Tristan,
you prick.
So, like I brought up, basically to derail your entire thing halfway through this intro, I wanted to talk to you about games, Ethan. Have you played any good video games lately that you've kind of just been jonesing on?
Oosh, this is Akko Taco. So,
all right.
I used to be big time into games, but now, my life is pretty much consumed by anime and work.
Mine's pretty close.
Freaking chill about that,
My current ones, I'm replaying the God of War game for PS4. Ugh, such a freaking masterpiece. And Ori and Will of the Wisps, very Metroidvania style game. Very fun, very clean. And speaking of Metroid and Castlevania.
All right, really fast. The one I'm going to buy as soon as it comes out is that Tony Hawk Pro
the remaster. Yeah, I will be on that shit without a doubt.
I will be purchasing that. I think the last game we played together was Borderlands 3.
Yeah, until I have a tendency to get really hype on playing with friends online, and then I just stop doing that because probably an anime show has derailed my.
Oh wait, did you even play with us? Holy shit!
Yeah, we did.
Okay, good.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Well, it's always Patrick's fault, and y'all know Patrick from the podcast.
Freaking RoboPat dude out here.
I just realized he's probably gonna listen and be unhappy, but it is your fault, and everyone will now know that.
Everyone will now know that. But let's dial back the game history back a little bit. Back to when Castlevania and Metroid were a thing. Back in the late 80s, early 90s era, what is considered the second golden age of video gaming, which acts as the setting for the show we're talking about today. Ethan, what is that show?
So we were actually recommended this show by one of our amazing fans who wrote into us at weebologypodcast at gmail.com. Thank you very much for that, Brandon. The show we are talking about is High Score Girl.
I have a lot to say about this show, but I'll read off the exact email that we got, and it kind of hits on a couple things that, was their pitch, and people out here giving pitches, so we got to give pitches their credit, and it's already better than mine for great teacher Onizuka. Hello, my professors. I've been listening to your podcast for a while now and have enjoyed every episode. Thank you, Brandon.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I know Ricky isn't a huge fan of CG in anime, but I still think that you'd both really like High Score Girl. It just had its second season released on Netflix and actually has an ending, along with having strong reference to real-life arcade games and culture. Thank you for all the work at home entertainment and looking forward to listening to your next podcast. Keep it up. Brandon, next podcast. Did we drop anything that we're going to make another podcast? Does he know something we don't?
I think he just means next episode.
No, Brandon, if you want to fill us in.
Give us a topic.
Yeah, give us we'll rip it. We'll
make the next Harry Potter podcast.
Well, Brandon, my great student, you will get your wish. We watched it. And Ethan, overall, 10,000 feet. How'd you feel about High Score Girl?
Okay, so I will say, since this is on Netflix, it's extremely accessible.
Yes.
But this was a show I had never intended on watching.
Oh, me neither. And everything is on the list. People give it high ratings. It had a 98% match for me on Netflix, so I'm like, yeah, they know me, I guess.
Okay, but the question is it just like because it's anime? They're like, oh, well, you'll probably like anime then.
Yeah, they know my watch log, and they're like, yeah, he's going to probably have to watch us eventually. So
yeah, those absolute fools realize that we have a podcast related to speaking about all anime.
And they knew. They freaking knew.
Jokes.
So, High Score Girl, we start out in, like I said, kind of like the turn of the 90s, it almost felt like. Maybe 89, something like that. I know.
When did Street Fighter 2 come?
I know it was at least 89 to start because they're showing copyrights of certain games in the show, and it was copyrighted 89. So I'm assuming that it at least starts with 6th grader Yaguchi. 87? Okay. It starts around then, late 80s. It is following at the start a 6th grader named Yaguchi Haruo. And he is...
I'm straining you on that one.
That's fine.
I have no clue what his name is.
Yaguchi, definitely. So, he is a self-proclaimed gamer. Now, let me just preface his character by saying he will never let you forget the fact that he's a freaking gamer, dude. This episode's for the gamers only. Everyone else just leave, man. Because
you wouldn't even like it, okay?
It's so weird to me because I really kind of, there's a lot of endearing parts about Yaguchi, and a lot of them do stem from the fact that he really is kind of a dunderhead. Like, he's not a smart guy, and there's definitely something a little endearing about a guy who isn't smart but at least has enough self-awareness to know it. So he knows he's shit at math, he knows he's shit at writing, he knows he's shit at sports, he knows he's shit at everything. But the one thing this boy is not shit at is gaming, especially fighting games. So...
what does he call himself, like the god of gaming or
he
something?
calls himself the god of gaming, and this is where I get a little bit off-put by him just slightly, is the fact that he is so abrasive to so many people, and he's kind of a dickbag. And I don't know, man, like... there are times when that definitely worked in his favor, and other times where it really kind of shot himself in the foot to the point where everything could have been better if he was just one click less a dick. He could still be an asshole. He just went too far. But I guess that says a lot. I mean, that middle school kids, they're ruthless, man. They're out here. They're out there for blood. So the story starts. He's a frequent visitor of his local arcades, and he's always on his Street Fighter 2 machines, and He sees himself pretty hoity-toity.
You know, his
good.
coin op games.
Yep.
And for you unanointed, that means coin operated video game
Ooh,
systems.
Did you
bro.
just age us really bad? We're both 36-year-old dudes.
Yeah, we are 55.
74 years
I have
young.
an Aston Martin and 16 children.
Oh, wait. Those are two totally different things in life. I think you could pick one. I think you could pick one of those two things.
I wouldn't say that. Look at Elon Musk. He's got like literally 1 billion kids and he's rich as hell.
Yeah, didn't he just have to name one something really crazy?
Yeah, it was wild.
So,
wait, so before we do this.
yes.
Oof, I just forgot what I was going to say, so just go ahead.
Cool. So he is sitting one day at his local arcade and...
I got it back.
Cool.
Okay. Sorry to continually go in and out here. So I was playing Xbox one time and I convinced this kid that I was 50 years old. I had a Ferrari and like I was an adult, obviously with a family. And he kept being like,
I'm in
yes
shock.
or no. Like he was like waffling on whether it was true. And I got one of my buddies to back me up. And he was just like fully believed I was like 50 plus. I was like, okay. I don't really think I talk like a 50 plus year old, but yeah.
Oh my god, that shot was a fucking bop. Yeah, I have a Ferrari.
Yeah, I've got a Ferrari though.
That's funny.
Anywho.
This kid don't have no Ferrari. He doesn't have anything to his name, Yamaguchi, that is, except for his gaming prowess. One day, that prowess is challenged, Ethan. It is challenged when he's sitting, like he always does, at his Street Fighter 2 cabinet. He pops one of his 100 yen in, and he goes to town, and he sees, this goes from single to multiplayer, baby. Someone on the other side, player 2's him, and whoops his ass. And I mean, takes him down. And he looks around, and it's our girl, none other than Akira Ono. Akira Ono, a.k.a. Ono the Emoto. Because... Ethan, is she a chatty Cathy?
So I don't know what the fuck's wrong with this girl. She straight up doesn't say a word the whole effing show.
And you know what? I love her character
That's
for it.
That's crazy because I hated it.
Really? Well, okay, tell me why you hated it. Not it, but I mean her, I guess.
So at least for that first portion when they were still younger.
Yeah.
I was like, honestly... So I grew to like it a little bit. But in the beginning, I was like, this is so effing boring. Like, what's the point? He's talking to a wall. You know what I mean? So, like...
Yeah.
So, basically, guys, like, in the beginning of this season, first season, it's mostly, like, him speaking to Ono, her not really emoting at all unless she's pissed. Or that's really mostly it. She'll only get, if she gets mad, she'll make some kind of emote. And then otherwise, she just like sits there like a freaking, like a wall. And then so like, I'm thinking, why are you making a show about this guy talking to a fucking coin operated gaming system? Because it's basically the same thing.
Just feed her coins and watch her smash. So there's a couple things on that. One, this show definitely tries to be up its own little gamer ass a bit because imagine the perfect mate, perfect life partner for a introvert gaming social pariah, like someone who doesn't know how to really be anything less than a little dickling in public like this Yaguchi guy. And imagine the perfect person is a girl who can crush at games and never say anything. There's no people skills required.
Guys,
no people skills.
I am not on board with this hot take that Ricky has pulled.
I'm just saying.
I think women can speak as much as they want.
Oh,
so
you're really
anyway,
gonna put me on blast?
Moving on.
No, I have another point.
Well, she's actually like extremely, I wouldn't say famous, but popular with the rest of the kids because she's like rich and cute.
Right. She has that. She has it all, apparently, but she doesn't say anything.
I think her like character is basically the unsuspected person who turns out to be an absolute gamer god. Sorry, the show's just like a little cringe.
That's the thing. The show's got a dash of cringe, and that
like
might be why I like Ono as a character because in a sea
she can't cringe.
Yeah, she literally doesn't have the ability to cringe. And in the second season, you see more of her backstory and how, like, she does escape to games because the rich family we mentioned does kind of really lay it on her thick. Like,
yeah, they blow.
They do really fucking suck. Like, they don't let her have any fun. She's got to be the perfect, like, daughter. She's got to go to piano and shit like that.
You know
She's
what?
out here
it's
hustling.
Actually just her like tutor. I don't think we've ever met her.
Oh yeah, you're right. I think they show up maybe briefly in the second season.
In the first season at the airport, her mom says something. But other than that,
yeah,
it was like exclusively
when she drags her away from hugging Yaguchi.
Yeah.
What
she's like, what are you even doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? Hugging people?
Sicko?
Friends? You can't make money off of that.
Did he just propose to you?
What a little piece of shit. No, so yeah, it really is the tutor. It's kind of a dick, but the reason why she works, I think there are subtle moments that, I did watch this in dub so I can work at the same time.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, I'm out here. I got to shove more anime in my face. I prefer sub, and I always will, but dub does make it easier to multitask. So I can
that you're
see.
finally learning.
I'm gonna come over there, and
you are literally within
beat you at Street Fighter 2. Just okay.
It made me want to buy one of those machines pretty bad.
That is actually pretty sweet. I mean, you do have a pinball machine. I'm staring at it, so I mean.
Yeah, but can I Street Fighter 2 on it? I don't think so.
Is it coin op?
It is.
Oh, then okay.
Well, it would be if I didn't have that obviously turned off.
Oh,
so I don't have
see,
these coins in my own house.
This guy's not a real gamer.
That's
then
really dumb.
I'm just kidding, but no. So I liked how subtly she did get to convey emotion while she never had to say anything, but you could kind of see her wear it on her face in a lot of the pivotal moments. And I can imagine in sub, it gives the audience a reprieve from having to do the whole sub technique of watching action and reading at the same time. You are a little divided on each, but with her, you can just like see it on her face. No reading, no talking, just concentrating on her emotion. And it made her for a really compelling, in my opinion, a really compelling kind of love interest for Yaguchi, because he's not clearly going to get anybody else, as we saw with.
What are you talking about? She wanted him so bad.
Who?
The other girl.
Right. But he's not going to get it, right? After
she turned into a god too. I
Hidaka? Hidaka? Yeah. Hidaka is this other girl that makes the other point in the love triangle. And she was.
Oh, and she's also just hot for no reason.
She's just like unusually pretty compared to every other girl. And I mean Onizuka.
Well, no, I'm just saying both these girls are like the hot girls in the class.
I'm going to bring that up in a second because I got a rant about that shit. But seriously, but no, so like this girl, like she's in a blizzard and then she goes and finds Yaguchi at a store playing a game. And as she watches him, I don't know where the spark happened. Maybe he just said a kind thing to her and all of a sudden she slowly becomes more smitten. But she is the exact opposite of Ono, where everything expositionally with her, you hear her thoughts. She says a lot of words. While he's playing games, she's thinking. It's a good mix of the two. But the reason why I say Ono is a more perfect match for Yaguchi.
Because she doesn't speak?
Well, no.
You don't have to hear her?
What are you getting at, dude? What are you getting at right now?
Said.
No, I'm saying, like, Hidaka is throwing herself at this guy. And he is literally to the point sometimes of berating her accidentally because he is a social idiot. He's a social idiot.
He's like massively oblivious.
Right. So, I mean, it makes sense that he basically, Ono is just that character that's been like, stripped away in his eyes of everything, all the trimmings of like, she's rich, she's super smart, blah, blah, blah. He just cares she's a fucking gamer. None of that stuff else really matters to him. Maybe that's why she's also attracted to him, because that never really played in with her,
Why? Because he's a dumbass.
Yeah, he's pretty much a dumbass. Yeah, he needs to get his bread, man. He needs to wifey her up later in life and get that mun, hun. Like, come on.
Well, so I don't know how we want to do this. Like, do we explain the show or what? Because what I'm about to talk about, I think, is more like what I think makes more sense for what happened rather than what happened.
Go to town. Riff it off.
So, I think the Hidaka chick, if that's her name, I can't remember. is like what he actually wants out of a girlfriend, because she like is phenomenal at games, but she can also talk to him about games, and like she got really into it. If you're
Yeah,
So
she
when they started, she literally knew nothing about games. She like didn't play them at all. But her dad, who owns a like a candy shop or something, he put these basically coin op games outside of his store to try to attract more kids into the store or whatever.
right.
And through that, and like watching Yaguchi come play at her house every day, like he said he
Mhm.
would do, she kind of like became enthralled with the concept, but also she literally learned to game to play with Yaguchi
Yeah,
and
man.
to like stack up against Ono in his mind and all this stuff, right? But like what the scenes I thought were really really bad though were the ones where Yaguchi is like talking to Ono and they're in the car or something, and he's like talking about all these sick games that they missed or that they want to
Right,
that are
right.
coming out, and she doesn't say anything, so it's just like, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
Yeah, and it's
But like her Hidaka he could speak to,
yeah, and it's funny you bring that up because I mean, like,
and she'd respond
she does respond, and that's the thing is,
with words,
and
not
and her
fists.
affections and not fists. Maybe he's into that. Maybe he just likes. He gets beat up a lot in this show. Let's sidebar that. He gets his ass beat so many times
Yeah,
in
he
this
needs
show.
to call somebody.
But he, I think it's funny because that's the difference of the reason why they game. You know, Ono always did it as a love for them, but also as an escape from the crushing pressure of her family. Whereas Hidaka did it solely to be closer to Yaguchi. And I don't know if he could, he couldn't feel anything. He had no social. I'm giving him way too much credit for that point, but it's clear that she almost had a moment later where she finally kind of grew in her own and became a true gamer girl for the sake of loving gaming. But I almost feel like her growth was stifled just because of the thing I wanted to rant about and all these stupid love triangle type shows. It's not the show that's stupid. It's the love triangle between two girls and a guy who has nothing to give. He is like even in the same vein, Hidaka this entire show says he's an idiot, he doesn't listen, he's not nice to me, he doesn't even know I exist, yet I can't stop loving him. Like, come on. What are you doing? This guy's a bum. A bubkiss kind of guy.
A romance trope. Like, I literally don't know what to tell you, man.
I guess that is really coming down to, the vessel character. A good example in another genre, in isekais, you have that OP cardboard cutout personality, someone you can shove yourself into to a power fantasy harem situation. It's stuff like this that I can understand why people would resonate with a character like Yaguchi. Because
I don't.
Right. But this show was built, if you're going to have a relational kind of moment with a character, if this show's main character was set up in such a way that you relate to him in no way, for so many people, then it would never be popular. Yet the show is celebrated up and down by a lot of individuals. And we're talking about why.
But I think the relatability just comes down to, like, honestly playing the same games that the people that watch this play. Because this is, I guess, mysteriously a seinen.
Is it really?
Yeah, and at least via Wikipedia or something. And it is classed as a 90s arcade romance.
90s arcade romance. Rip him up. And I mean, yeah, I did like that.
Sorry, romantic comedy.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, it's really comes down to what makes this show stand out in my eyes is its application of that second golden age of gaming knowledge that they shove in there for a lot of individuals, a lot of anime fans that maybe are a little older than Ethan and I could probably remember very intensely playing those exact same games. And when it comes down to gamer knowledge, and I don't say that as a cringe thing, like people who are into gaming, the knowledge that they would have of that era, it does show through very well in this show, they go all the way up from strictly arcades and the TurboGrafx 16 all the way up to the PlayStation and beyond. So I mean, they do.
Only 90 kids would get it.
Yep, only 90 kids would understand this. But were you ever into those Street Fighter games? Like, could you resonate on the game aspect of this?
Not at all. So the one that I did resonate with was Ridge Racer.
Ridge Racer, no way.
So we had the original PlayStation, so PlayStation 1, and we had the Ridge Racer game. So when they showed it in the show, I was like, "Ah, shit, man."
The one I can resonate on was that Vampire Hunter. I didn't know a lot of fighter games, but the one story time, when my sister would go play soccer in the north, you used to have these massive complexes because the North sweater kind of sucks. So when she so when she'd go there were some good arcade games inside of that Metroplex. There was the OG Gauntlet. There was a couple fighting games, but the one that I liked playing with my brother was that Vampire Hunter, that fighting game. And it was not until I found out later that game never officially came to America in that form. So that was like a port on a different cabinet that was just a completely different cabinet outside. So it was very hackney, but it was fun. I mean, those were the only games I remembered. I didn't jump on the Street Fighter trend or the Tekken trend, but I think what that show did.
The ones that I always liked was like the X-Men game where you each pick an X-Men and you kind of like, they showed clips in this show of like, you pick one of 4 characters and you kind of like progress through levels and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So the X-Men game and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game was the ones that I was always into.
What was the one that they played together first in the store? Was it Final Fight or something like that?
Yeah, that's right.
Final Fight. Those games are fun, like the Double Dragon style games. I like those beat 'em ups. Those ones I got a little more into, and I think when they narrator pop in with like strats that they were using and dropping, that I resonated with. That was a very Dr. Stone-esque moment that, you know, the narrator pops in or like somebody pops in and teaches me something about, you know, this era or this topic. But
it was kind of cool because they used like the announcer from the game, you know?
Yeah, and let's talk about that. The whole game world meshing with the real world.
The Guile Turtle!
The Guile turtling! But Guile literally being almost like Yagushi's
like
conscience.
Voice of reason.
His Jiminy Kick-It, if you will. He is out here telling him life lessons while also helping him spam in the game. So it was really cool to see them mesh, but that's where I think the cringe almost started happening, where yes, we know it's a gamer show, and it started to get really old really fast in the second season. They did that a lot in the second season. So there's a lot of moments in this where they know gamer aficionados will be watching, but they shove it so distilled down your gullet that you're almost just like, okay, all right, settle down. Like, I know this is a show for gamers, and but all in all, that part was endearing. The teaching me about old school gaming was endearing. And that was a part that I can probably get behind more when like they're in the arcades and it's people like the tournament arc in the second season. I really enjoyed that. I think that was pretty cool.
Wait, what? Not the one where they're like on the school trip and they sneak away.
That was pretty. No, that was cool. No, I'm talking about the in the second season. They Ono and Yaguchi are going up in the tournament where they meet at the finals and face each other
again.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I did like how basically OG Ono was at gaming, just on a very surface level, where she basically almost kicked Yagushi's ass with broken buttons. Fuck you, dude. You just got nearly body slammed by a broken machine.
Well, remember she like was using Akuma and then couldn't even do that because the things were broken.
Yeah.
So she couldn't even play against him with Akuma.
I love that kind of thing. So, I mean, the gaming aspect, while cringy in the way that Yaguchi would make it work, from the show's plot and narrative structure, it worked well. I think that's what's putting it a little bit above other slices of life and romance.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest. Yep. So like, I think the cringe came from like purely Yaguchi just being like that effing oblivious.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah,
because Hidaka was like straight up telling him at some points like, "Hey, I like you," and then he was like finally having to face that, and then like also he had that little buddy who I thought was into him for like the entire show.
Little buddy,
the other guy,
Mio.
That's right.
Yeah,
The
Mio.
pretty boy.
Yes. Yeah. Me, actually, you know what? Yeah, me too. He was. A little...
I was like, he's into him 100%.
And then there's that one character, literally Onizuka, that chick with 2 teeth.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
no! That one of the funniest parts in this whole fucking show was when they're at an amusement park. And they basically say, "Hey," and her voice is like this, straight up like this.
That's actually exactly what her voice sounds like.
They're like, "Hey, let's everyone team up in boy-girl style and go on a fucking Ferris wheel." And then Yagushi's trying to get on with Ono, and then she comes up behind him and goes, "Hey, would you go on with me and tell me if your penis has a bone in it?" I'm like, whoa, whoa. That's the most forward. I respect her. Because she's out here trying to get it, looking like an actual like turnip, like
troll. No, so like, that's when I kind of realized this was not for kids.
Oh yeah,
it was actually like fairly aggressive sexually for being so young.
Yeah,
and there was like a situation at one point. Ono runs away, and they basically Yaguchi, for whatever reason, feels like he's responsible, and he goes and finds her. And they end up spending the night together.
Yeah, they're in that room. Don't they play like PlayStation together?
Yeah, so he had just bought a. No, it wasn't a PlayStation.
I thought that's just when like the Saturn and PlayStation just came out. It was a Saturn, right? Because he was a Sega Saturn man,
or like a Famicom or something. I don't know what it was, but anyway, it was something. It was like a Nintendo.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so he just bought a gaming system and. They play it, and don't the way they shoot it's a little weird. Like
it's like mad weird, bro.
There's a lot of sexual tension for 8th graders. This is not cool. But I mean, I guess they're both 8th graders, so I can't really knock it. But I don't know. But no, okay. Not a rant, just a side note.
Well, like it is realistic. I think that kind of thing does happen. I think like
right.
the Ferris wheel thing could potentially occur.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, and it was clear from the beginning that, Ono's not going to talk, so how do they kind of communicate together feelings? And that's through co-op gaming and fighting and basically like that. So
I just like
lay it out here, man.
It got endearing, I suppose, in some occasions, like when she like slid her hand over and held his hand and stuff like that.
And when she was at the airport, that did get me.
That was great.
That was a good moment.
Literally good.
Because
the rest of it was so freaking bad, in my opinion, with Ono.
I don't think. Yeah, man. Maybe I just like.
It's like I think. Okay.
Don't. Just,
what?
I thought you were about to go on a rant about me liking women who can't talk.
No. So I think it's like what people get so frustrated about in relationships with like one person being insanely passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Because she has no normal like speaking aggressive.
Yeah, and
so it's like the epitome of passive aggressive because half the time he's trying to talk to her and she's like literally not giving him any type of like it's a blank wall,
Oh, when she came back from LA, that was the part I was like, fuck this.
I was like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I was like, ditch this
broad
witch,
ditch this witch
and go date Hidaka because she's turned into a prodigy.
Yeah, she already was scoped out by him as a natural talent, and it's
oh my
true.
God, she's a talent.
And then she went to that whole Nikokima, the chick that basically recruited her to go to like Iguana Game Shop, and she did that underground welcome to night gaming. This is like the real underground hardcore gaming boot camp. And she trains them up because they have that Yaguchi and Hidaka have that love battle essentially where if he wins, she'll step down. If she wins, he has to go out with her. And this is the part that I realized I didn't like Yaguchi anymore. Like any endearingness is gone. Is when they have their battle. It's close. She does a really good job. He does eventually win and couldn't see that the whole freaking reason she did this was she just wants one freaking date, dude. Just one date. And the only thing he can say was, how's that? I smacked you up. You have no idea.
Yeah, he's a real turd. He's a real piece of
That's what I'm like, you're an actual piece of shit. And then he gets his ass beat by every guy in that's watching him. And I'm like, yeah, you fucking... Yeah. I had some vicarious catharsis from him getting his ass beat a couple times. Who else beat his ass? Who's that Han-kun guy? The one with the really bad temper? from the beginning and kind of showed up
Yeah.
recurringly. He beat his ass a couple times, and the narrator even said it like a nature documentary. Gaming fights always start out as a hand-to-hand combat over a digital medium, and then ends up as a simple wrestling match.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
So it's got like two freaking nerds like trying to tackle each other and stuff.
Have you ever seen anyone get so upset at an arcade like that they start beating on each other?
So I've only been in arcades when I was young, and it was never like an occurrence when someone would just like straight up fight each other.
I did one time see a really heated argument between two random DDR players where the guy put his hand on the back rail and the other guy just wasn't, and the other guy lost by a bit, and then turns to that guy and starts going ape shit on his ass for using the back rail, and he says, "It's a handicap, it's fucking cheating," and I'm like, I'm 12, this is weird, like, why are you doing this? And the other guy started getting in his face, and then I think they got escorted out of D&B, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like almost part of the nostalgia for people of that era, because I think that kind of stuff probably did happen in like intense like Street Fighter 2 tournaments and shit like that.
Oh yeah, and I will
and like
say,
the way the arcades were set up is like literally head to head,
yeah,
and you're across from each other, so you could be shit talking and stuff like that. But I think like these days, like people get stabbed or killed, so it's like honestly not worth it,
Yeah, and I think that was probably one of the most intense parts of the show, and most enjoyable was actually watching
them get killed.
Not them get killed. I mean, them playing these games head to head. I mean, there is, as much as we didn't necessarily play a lot of them, it's nostalgic to see these 8 and 16-bit like games mono head to head. It's all battle royales and big team play, and you don't get to 1v1 on Rust anymore, bro. Like that shit doesn't really happen too often.
It's your rig.
So seeing that in its purest, most like distilled form, especially when they had to put some money in, man. Like just you had to commit some of your mom's cash to go play.
You remember he got a job just to play games?
He got worked at a sushi factory, right? Or a sushi assembly place?
He got that job so that he could buy more games for his at-home system so he could practice while he's not at the arcade.
That shit.
And he was like a true gamer, dude.
He's a true gamer, and I get
he drinks G Fuel on the daily.
On the daily, dude. Wakes up, has a bang, has some G Fuel, hits the COD. That's his life now because he's 37?
Yeah, he's old.
He's old now, but
I don't know. Like, so I obviously didn't live through this era, but I have like this weird nostalgia for it, even though I never lived through it. If that makes any sense.
I think we hit the tail end. I remember I had a Super Nintendo as a kid because I didn't have.
No, I mean like the arcade lifestyle.
Oh, word, yeah. We I just remember going to places like after baseball games as a kid, like Pee Wee baseball, and then like the place we'd go to would have arcade games, just a little section, but it was enough. Was there ever an arcade game that you just were godly at? Did you ever get to that level in any arcade game?
I was like the king at cheating at the claw games at one point.
That's something.
So the only place I really played a lot of arcade games was every year my family would go on vacation to Wildwood, New Jersey.
Oh yeah, okay.
And it's like basically a 50s, 60s doo-wopper type atmosphere.
That's cool.
So they like obviously had a shitload of arcades and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the place we stayed at, like literally across the street, had a massive game room. And our place had like a smaller one.
Okay.
And then down the street, there was, at this place called Bal Harbor, there was like a insane arcade. Like
that sounds
2
awesome.
floors type
Hell yeah.
Arcade. And so like the nostalgia I think I feel is like my uncles, who are obviously older than me by about 20 plus years.
Right.
Explained, back in the 80s how it was in arcades and stuff, because they were probably, 15 going to the same exact place.
I'm
back
into that.
when arcades were like big,
Okay.
So, that's, I think, probably part of the nostalgia is like I've been like told firsthand what it was like. They explained that, the quarter on the machine thing used to be a big deal.
Oh yeah, that's
like saving your spot.
You're next up. Yeah,
but yeah. In my lifetime, we never freaking did that because nobody's ever waiting for a machine that bad to where they put a quarter on it.
That is true. I never had that quarter weight scenario. I would say for me, that Pee Wee baseball one definitely comes up for me because after every game, all the dads would take all of the sons and we'd go to this bar called Harpo's. It's gone now, and it was sad to go up to Cleveland to visit that. It no longer being there, but what?
Sorry.
It was.
That
it was
hilarious.
It
to
was.
visit that vacant lot.
And it's not there anymore. But
Oh,
that.
Christ.
But back in the room, there was a bunch of games.
Who did you visit?
The Harpo's bar.
You just said it was not there.
Well, yeah, because we went up there last time and it just was gone. It used to always be there, and it was gone like 2 years ago.
As like a building was just missing?
No, it got replaced by a
Where'd
fucking
it go?
fucking froyo shop, dude. I don't know, dude. It's just gone, man. It's just gone. Why did you bring it up, man?
I didn't.
Yeah, why did you bring this up? No, but with the 2 games in this like 7-game array, that the one thing I am nostalgic about is hitting that motherfucking top of the leaderboard. Carnival King and Hydro Thunder.
Hydro Thunder.
Those
was
2
the
games,
best.
I would just go, and my dad would just give me literally just like a solo cup of just quarters, just like here, and it would be for me and my brother, and we would just.
The man, Mr. Shosk.
Dr. Shosky, the original Dr. Shosky. We would rip
Le progeniteur of the docteur.
the progenitor of this professor. So I would always clean house at Carnival King. And that was the only game I played. It was like one of those.
Know anything about it.
It was just a shooter, and it just had like 3 distinct levels. And if you won first place in all of them, and you won first place in the bonus game, you then got to play again for free. And I got so good that I would run all 3 because no one was waiting for it. I couldn't find it ever until a shop near us, about an hour away here, called the Retrocade, has it in the basement, loaded onto a big buck hunter. So it's no longer a pistol, it's freaking shotguns.
So Big Buck Hunter was like one of our big games.
Oh, yeah?
We always played. And then that 1942 game where you're the plane and you like fly over.
This rings a bell,
It's
but
on my phone. They
okay.
made literally an app of it. I can show you in a second.
Oh, that's cool.
This one. Hang on. Everyone at home, just pretend like we're not talking right now, if that makes any sense.
1942 Squadron.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, this is the squadron thing is just the fact that it's
Oh, okay.
phone.
But so as you're looking at it, and as I'm looking
Yeah.
at it, and I kind of really dig this aesthetic because it's kind of old school.
Yeah.
So we may have had our fair share. Oh,
Yes.
that looks familiar. Okay.
So like
It's like it's like a bullet time, like a bullet hell kind of thing.
So you're like a plane and you're flying around and you have to kill like enemy planes as well as like ships that are shooting at you, and you can kill like each turret and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's similar to like Galaga in that when you kill some of the planes, like
They could
power
drop.
up
Yeah,
or
they could
something
drop
will
stuff.
Fly down to you.
So I mean, as Ethan gets sucked into his game, the
Wait,
thing.
what are we doing?
What are we doing here? What year is it?
Sorry,
So
I'm just like Yaguchi.
yeah. See, so we may have had our personal fair share of arcade experiences, but not to the extent of the characters in this show. So if we weren't necessarily nostalgic for the games itself, we weren't really too hype on the main character. We weren't really too hype on either one or either of the girls. Ethan, did you like this show?
So in my opinion, the nostalgia was like the main point here. Like,
Yeah.
obviously.
Okay.
But we didn't really talk about the art. So it was like,
I was trying to avoid it a little bit.
oh Jesus Christ. It was a weird art style. It was definitely CG,
Yeah.
but like a not super bad CG, if that makes sense. Like I got used to it, if that makes
I got used to it. Yeah, because I think what they're doing now is they're getting better techniques about maintaining thick lines around the outside, like almost like an application of cell shading, where you're
For sure,
you're
dude.
keeping the outline as they move and turn. That seems a lot like a 2D animation would, and then they have like almost really crisp 2D animations rendered onto these 3D models. Whatever they're doing to cook up this new wave of CGI, I'm about it. This one felt a little rough around the edges, but not so rough that it detracted from experiencing the show as they wanted me to, right?
I think what the problem for me with CG is like the feeling of depth. Like I feel like it just doesn't feel 3D. It feels feels like everything's falling away from the thing so far in the front of you, if that makes any sense. Like
Yeah.
it's like the characters are in your eyeballs and everything else is like 1,000 miles away. Like
That's a
there's
really
just
good
like
point,
a
yeah.
big gap. It's how it feels to me.
So I think
What was your favorite part?
of the whole show.
Yeah, like a quick little scene or something that you were just like down for.
I really enjoyed the first like 3 episodes, or the one right up to the moment where she's being taken away to LA for the first time. Because that scene in the airport, that all felt so natural. You have this girl who really don't know you. You're kind of a piece of shit socially. And you guys just seem to have a weird vibe. You relate on the one thing you both are obviously obsessed with. And then when it's time to be torn away, like she's being torn away by her family, which is the whole point of her gaming, also the whole point why she met Yaguchi, that's the first time we hear her even utter a noise, and it's her crying like with so much more emotion than you saw her up to any point in the show, and arguably after. So I liked that moment. It felt real. It felt emotional. I think after that point,
did they like explain why she's like literally a mute? Like what the hell's going on?
I think in the second season they go in a little bit about how like the crushing weight of her family demanding perfection on top of everyone around her, just like she doesn't even have to talk to anybody, right? Because everyone is just like giving her whatever she needs. She's smart, she's pretty, she's rich, she can draw, she knows all these other extra skills because of her family. Why develop a personality? Why would you ever need to do that? You have everything you need. You could just do the things. So to me, it almost felt as if she was like, in everything other than gaming, she was a robot going through the motions of everything. Adding to her really not having to respond to anything just means she never had to. Her only criteria was do well on all these things, and just that's it. Yeah, they never explicitly explain why she's a mute, but I can't even figure out necessarily why one reason. Just the whole window of the show, the whole measure of the show, it works for her being silent. It just does, in my opinion.
I don't know. I think in the beginning it was okay. I was hoping she'd come back from LA and not like be a mute, but I don't know. Just like I think they did a good job of showing a lot of the nonverbal communication type stuff.
Oh yeah, they did a good job with that.
But I think where it just kind of gets boring is like, I don't know who in their right effing mind could just speak to a wall for the rest of their life.
A guy who's looking at black screens his entire life up to this point.
Yeah, I get it, but even still, he wants to talk about gaming and he can't because she doesn't talk. And so, like, the obvious choice here is, hey, take the other cute girl who talks about games
and who can now rip a joystick like nobody's business.
Yeah, who freaking shreds.
But
so my favorite scene was in the first season, like very early on, similar to what you said, before she left. I think the episode before she left, they went on this trip together to go look for an urban legend arcade.
Oh yeah, this shit. That was cool.
So they go to this little town and they find it, and it's in this basement. They go down and it's like straight out of like the early 80s.
It's like moldy just by being in there.
Yeah. And it's like machines that only came out in that time period, and like everything's like 1 yen or something ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it was a 10 yen shop.
Yeah, so they could play it literally all day, and they were like talking about how cool it was because that's not a thing anymore. And they leave it and they turn around and it's gone.
yeah.
And so it's like it is an urban legend and it's gonzo.
I like the idea that what actually happened is they were just downstairs in a moldy, asbestos-ridden environment. They got some brain fungus. they were just wrapped up down there.
They
for
were
like 6
affected
hours.
by asbestos.
And they watered the way out, took one fresh breath of air, and then looked behind. Oh, where were we? Some old laundromat or something.
No, I thought that was like the coolest scene, at least for 90% of the show. Oopie.
You know what? There's something. It's funny because.
So I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I kind of liked it. As all of the parts of this show add up, it does make something way better than the sum of its parts. Like seriously.
Yeah, I think it was solid. Like,
yeah.
I don't think this is something that. Maybe this is something you would suggest to somebody who like doesn't watch anime but is like gaming centric, and then maybe you can try to pull them into anime that way.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't say this is like a heavy anime favorite. like for I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Like
no.
it had a lot of weaknesses, and it was relatively strong in some areas.
I put it this way. I recently just watched the Dragon Prince season 3 as well.
Oh,
And
finally.
that season had more anime references, traditional anime references, than this entire show did. There were scenes where they did like Sailor Moon transformations and
Well,
like,
Dragon Prince is an absolute thug lord of a show, and we're definitely going to be doing a dozen
anime about it. Yeah, for absolute sure. But in terms of this show, what would you give it? 100, 100 pachinko machines out of whatever. What do you got? What do you think?
I I was gonna say 69, but I obviously am not gonna do that because that's stupid. I will do 67 completely mute girls out of 100 doornails.
100 doornails. I'm gonna give it a 72. Three seemed a little high. I think I liked the idea of a completely.
What number did I say?
67.
Okay, I'm so cool with that.
Yeah. So 72, maybe even a 73. Just because I think the use of Ono being kind of a mute is contextually in the story, you can make sense as to why she's that way. I think it works in the context, and they do a really good job of conveying her emotions.
All right, quick question.
Yes.
This is how I think it would be better, and I want to see if you agree.
Okay.
So she leaves.
Yes.
He falls actually in love with Hidaka. She comes back. And then he has to literally like decide childhood love
versus the one that stayed.
Yeah. And then it's like an actual show.
Yeah.
Instead of just like, I don't even know what his freaking plan was other than like, he clearly liked Ono and was too afraid to admit it or whatever. And then like, obviously Hidaka liked him and was very clear on that point. And Mio literally told him. And it's like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. It just felt like so weird. I think if they had prolonged the return, like,
right?
Because when that all started with Hidaka, I was like, "Yo, I cannot wait for Ono to return, and then this is gonna get interesting."
So
but it happened like instantly.
I think what slight tweak in your idea that I think would have made for a better show. I think what they should have done is season 1.
Oh, she comes back and she's Joestar.
Oh, yes. It's actually me, Dio!
Trish.
Yeah, then Hidaka reveals herself to be Dio, and then it's an actual all-out JoJo battle for him. No, so what I think they should have done, prolonged her leaving, make that a little more of a gut. It was a good gut-wrenching moment for them, for just the hair. They should have prolonged their kind of foundation, and then prolonged everything like that. Gave the rest of maybe the last third of it, him kind of finding some footing with Hidaka. They really do. She
and
pulls
Mio?
the whole. Yeah, she pulls the. Yeah, you mean Dio? She pulls the whole.
Mio.
Oh, Mio. Sure.
I promise that dude was into
him.
him.
Oh, god damn it! So they basically form a damn near relationship, and then boom, she comes back at the end of season 1, and season 2 is about that.
She talks.
And guess what? She says, "Hi, Agoshi," and then it's like, "Whoa, you sound like you're from the South." And instead, I thought you went to LA.
Hey, Gucci.
Yeah, I went to Los Angeles, Alabama. Actually, that's where my family's got an estate down there. That'd have been fucking hysterical.
More of a plantation, if
got more of a plantation down there. So you know what? Again, it wasn't bad.
Definitely solid. Like maybe for
not,
sure.
Yeah,
solid. Thank you so much for the recommendation.
Yeah,
the cool part about it was I was never gonna watch that if you hadn't recommended it. So I really appreciate
this.
That.
Is why we're doing this. We will watch shows you recommend, and that's the point. Maybe we'll find some bangers. Maybe we'll find some solid ones. Maybe you guys give us a ditch bomb. We're into it. We'll rip it, but you gotta understand that's what we're here for. So, thanks y'all so much for listening and coming to class. Hey YouTube gang, I'm looking absolutely disheveled today.
Haircut coming soon.
Haircut coming soon when the world opens up to the old
open.
world.
Barbers are open, bro.
What?
Literally yesterday they opened.
YouTube gang is seeing me going like gangbusters right now. Well, if you don't want to see my hairy mug and just want to listen with your ears, go on to Apple, Google, Spotify, Castbox, Stitcher, or anywhere else you get your podcast fix. Check us out on Instagram at weebology.podcast. We got memes on news. Very quarantine heavy, but you know what? We're ripping them anyway whenever we get the chance. Again, take your other students' advice, take Brandon's advice, and hit us up on Gmail, weebologypodcast@gmail.com. You suggest it, we watch it, we'll give you an honest review on how well you can pitch or ditch. Who knows?
Make sure to leave us a review on any podcasting platform that allows it, specifically Apple, if possible. It obviously helps your favorite podcasters grow, reach more people, help them through the void, similar to the way I've helped Ricky through the void.
And what's also been helping me is these extra credit episodes we have every Thursday. I'm reviewing Tower of God. Ethan's reviewing Gleipnir. It comes out every Thursday. We rip in isolation, and I'm having a really good time with those. Like that, because that show, my show is great, and your show is weird.
Yeah, so Gleipnir kind of blows.
Does it really?
It's starting to suck.
I didn't hate it too much. I think I'm caught up. Episode 7 or 8 now, at time of recording.
Claire gets absolutely blasted in this last episode.
I'm caught up. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely be ripping a full review of that on the main show at some point. But
yikers.
But until those episodes come out, I'm Ricky.
And I'm your hero.
And this has been Weebology. Deuces.
Yeah.
You've been laying it thick on me, dude. Oopsies.